Oh no.
Happy Friday, everybody. It is June 11th, and we decided to do a special episode. We knew we were going to do a special episode, but I didn't really say anything to you guys. But hanging out to my left,
Craig Uglin. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram.
and my right.
Ready.
And
I know you weren't ready.
And I'm always right. Martha Makashadi, and I'm on Facebook.
Yikes, always right. There might be people who would argue with that.
I know.
But hey, everybody, thanks for joining us. Bella needed a nap already this morning, so she's chilling somewhere, and Jackie's chilling, of course, as always. We just appreciate you guys being here. But the special episode today, I was shiny, my shiny shirt. I am shiny. It says that's an acronym. I'm a grandfather, so I get to have corny acronyms and be corny, that I'm a grandfather now. So I'm boarding an airplane, and I scan my pass, and the lady says, "Hey, I really like your shirt. That's really cool. I am shiny." And I said, "Hey, wait till you see the back of it." I said, as I walk away, I'll pause a second because obviously there's a long line of people. And so I pause, and she reads it, and she says, "Hey, that's really great. I love it." So it says, so what it stands for is strong, hope, influential, necessary in you. What I want to spring on the two of you today for this episode is this. What does it mean to you to be shiny? What does it mean to you to be strong? What does it mean to you to be hope? What does it mean to you to be influential? What does it mean to you to be necessary? And what does it mean to you to be you? Wow. You guys ready?
No.
Let's do this. You got to add into the viewers that we're wearing our shiny shirts. So this is kind of ironic that you give us this, Matt, because it wasn't really planned or premeditated at all. But, we're wearing.
Do you think that last week I didn't give you the shiny shirts on purpose or what?
No.
I figured you'd be
Maybe.
obligated, right?
Well, I'm very much complimented. So very nice. So thank you.
Complimented
With my shiny shirts.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
I like it. I think we get caught up in the rat race so often, right? Including us on the show. It's like, hey, we're going to cover these stories. We've gone to segments specifically talking about politics in the United States. We've gone to segments specifically talking about entertainment, specifically talking about local. We talk about segments of the U.S. economy. So it's very specific. And so we get caught up in that rat race. And I think that, and me included, we don't stop and think about some of those things that really are foundational and meaningful. And that's why I thought this is a plug for me and what I do a little bit. Yes, I get it. But I think it's important because for me, that's the basis of what this means. The shows that I do, this show, my other show, everything that I do revolves around this sort of shiny topic, this acronym. So let's dig into strong. Be strong. Let me back up just a second. So here's what I do. I came up with this in 2014, and I got to really thinking about. So I had to go up into do a speech in front of around 200 men, and obviously I planned the speech out. But as I was planning it, I was thinking, and I'm not going to tell you the exact intentions of why they brought me in, but it was different than my normal thing, because what I did was I shared the story of my daughter's death, generally specifically at that time. So this was a new thing for me, but they wanted to sort of take that foundation of what got me through that time in life in 2012. And so I got to thinking about what's that foundation look like in my life. And so I came up with this. So what I did was I went in there and I said that I want to show each and every one of you men that you are shiny. And then I'm going to teach you how to be shiny. And then I'm going to teach you how to stay shiny. So this whole hour and a half, whatever it was, 2 hour long event that I was doing, not all at once, thankfully, I got a break, but was that you are shiny. I want to show you that. I want you then to understand that you can be that. You can be shiny. And then I'm going to help you in what I've learned through these things to stay that way. But right now we're going to talk about the middle piece. Be shiny, be strong, be hope, be influential, be necessary, and be you. So be strong. What does that look like?
I say own it, meaning just own what you're doing. Own it. Not necessarily physically or mentally, Popeye strong, but have a sense of direction and just own it, not waver. Whatever you're for, just own it, make it you. That's what I say when I think of strong.
To be that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
to be strong.
Yeah. To just own what you're doing, your maybe mannerisms, your personality, it's not more of a visual word to me. It's just more of a way of action word of life for me when you say the word strong.
Craig.
Well, you definitely sprung this on us.
I know.
I don't have
any,
like, was it 5 minutes ago?
Yeah.
I mean, we're
yeah.
5 minutes into the show,
Yeah.
I guess, but 10 minutes ago,
Yeah.
5 minutes before the show, I'm like, hey, here we go. Let's do this special episode.
Yeah. So it's not like I have any great words of wisdom or philosophy, but I mean, shiny to me is, keeping your motorcycle clean, but that's different kind of.
Oh, the chrome.
The
I
chrome.
get it.
Yeah, exactly. Strong to me.
To be that way, to be strong.
To be strong. Touching on what Martha May had said, but stand by your convictions. And there's a time to be strong, and there's a time to let your guard down. In a crisis situation, you need to be strong. To give comfort to other people. If it's a medical emergency or a stressful situation, you want to be strong for others. That confidence that you exude with your strength, so that other people feel that there's some control in the world.
Yeah.
That's, I guess, one point of being strong. This is totally sprung on me.
Those are the best conversations, though.
Yeah.
And I wanted this to flow as more of a conversation and thought process. Like, you sit around the campfire and you're like, just let's get deep.
Yeah.
Right.
Even saying the word strong too, you got to be strong enough to know when to be humble.
Yeah.
And take a hit at the knee kind of thing and humble yourself. It's not all about, being arrogant or cocky or, I'm macho man or macho woman, that kind of thing, but knowing when to be humble as well, to be strong.
I totally agree with that, because a lot of times I will try, in order to find that strength for myself, I have to acknowledge and put a light on my weakness.
Yeah.
Like a friend of mine, he said, one of the things that I really have taken with since he told me this, he said one of the things that he tries to do is he's like, take the sword out of their hand. Right. So in other words, holy crap, I screwed up. Like, that was a bad thing. I shouldn't, that was like, then they can't pierce you with that sword.
Take the air out of there.
Yeah. There's a lot of analogies, but I really like the sword one, because that's the way it feels a lot of times when people are being critical of you and all those kinds of things. It feels like they're just cutting at you and cutting you down and things like that. But if you essentially do that in a positive and a stable mental health way, I think that's so important, where you can build that foundation of strength then.
Right.
It's like, yeah, you're right. I kind of got that wrong there.
Right.
I'm not good at it.
Admit when you're wrong. And
yeah. And what can I do to do better?
Yeah.
I have a really hard time with saying I'm sorry. And my sister, as a joke, gave me a book one year, Christmas, and the book is called Martha Doesn't Say She's Sorry.
It was literally called that?
It is. I have it on a shelf at home. Yeah, it's kind of a kid's book, but she she meant it when she gave it to me.
That is funny.
Just it is, but sometimes you just have to reflect and know your strengths and your weaknesses, and kind of where they lie as well. I laugh about the book now, but at the time I was like, and everything, like, who needs this? I sure don't need this, that kind of thing or whatever. And just thinking you're stronger physically and pushing through things, compared to, like I said, and I'm definitely more of a person that actions speak louder than words. And I know I was speaking with some people about that a couple days ago, that I do have a hard time saying I'm sorry compared to showing that I'm apologetic with that, so that strength and weakness, both sides of it.
I'm going to spin off of that, and I think knowing and admitting your weaknesses makes you a stronger person.
Yeah.
Than always thinking that you're right and that you're above everybody else. And if you're humble and you're like, no, I don't know everything, and I'm not the best at anything, I think it takes, you let your skeletons out of the closet and people can't attack you for your skeletons. You show your weaknesses, and people can't attack you for your weaknesses. Well, some people will, but
some people just will attack anyway.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah,
that's good, Craig. Yeah,
I agree. I think too, Martha May, about the sorry thing. I think there's a difference to be sorry and in the sense of like, yeah, you're right, I did mess that up, and I am sorry for that. However, I think there's a place that's always, yeah, I did mess that up, but I'm not sorry for it because XYZ. There might be a purpose behind why you did it. And you didn't realize that it was a screw up until later. But right. I think I'm sorry gets thrown out so often that it gets watered down so much. Yep. And I think there's a place that we should be sorry, but there's also a place where mutual conflict is one thing that I think a lot of people are, I'm sorry, when a mutual conflict is generally healthy and important, and you shouldn't be sorry for it, right? Like you should be, you know what, we both learned from that. Let's admit that. Let's agree to disagree or whatever you want to say. So I think that's super important too.
Right.
And that's kind of how I view a little bit of that too.
Yep.
So be hope.
I love that word, hope.
Be the shining light.
Chrome.
My whole life I've spent a lot of time in the hospital with some medical stuff, and the people around you can really give you that hope. I want to be careful I don't go down a rabbit hole on this, but people have said to me, how have you been able to go through everything you've been through? Well, spend some time in a pediatric ward, and you see those 4-year-olds with terminal cancer, and they are shiny as could be. They're just, bright little happy kids, and they have hope that someday they'll find a cure. And it makes your situation pretty weak. Not weak. It humbles your position or what you're going through, knowing that there's always somebody that's worse off. So, there's always a chance. I don't know if that really ties into hope, but hope for the best. Expect the worst, but hope for the best. I don't know.
Martha May, be hope.
I think of it may be good or bad, but right away when I think of the word hope, I think of the dangling the carrot in front of the rabbit kind of thing, where it's just always giving you an incentive. And I was born on Easter, so anything was rabbit. So when people said that carrot and that rabbit, but it was always going after something and using that word, hoping for the best and working towards something. So hope isn't just, oh, maybe it'll happen. But for me, hope is planning for it and working and pursuing the best, not just, oh, I hope this works out kind of thing. So that's a little open for me for a word, meaning that you have to have hope along with good work ethics, a good morale, a plan of action with that compared to just, I hope it works out well, using that word hope as the adjective like
Yeah,
that.
just a nonchalant,
Yeah, yeah.
just a like
Yeah.
how's the weather,
Yeah.
right? You don't really actually want to probably talk to somebody when you're just like, how's the weather,
Yeah.
But, yeah,
I hope the weather turns out well today.
yeah,
Yeah. So I think of it as a, gateway to another word or gateway to an action. For me, at least that's how it means that I don't just hope on things. Pray, work. What do you plan? Do you plan your work or do you work your plan? That kind of mindset as well.
sure. So to be hope for me is in the basic concept of this was when I lost my daughter in a car crash, and I would speak and students would send messages or there'd be surveys or whatever at the end of the speech that they would fill out and then I would end up getting later, was like I never thought of myself as being that to somebody else, but they just would say, we have hope to get through XYZ because you were able to get through this, right?
Nice.
And that's what, to me, to be, get up there and do something that is uncomfortable to you that may benefit somebody else.
Nice.
Imperfectly. I am the first to say I'm not good at it. I just do it.
So I like that, Matt. That's really nice. Yeah, that's really nice.
Just do something that's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And whether it's intentional or not, be a good example for others.
Yeah.
Or show others that you can get through a tough situation or whatnot, and show others that, yeah, you can get through things that are not easy.
For sure. Because life isn't easy.
No.
I would like to say that I'm a hope. I would like to say that people looked at my life, that I could say that, I would be a hope to others, that, anything is possible. I would hope that I could hope. I would like to think that I showed hope, just like you, doing speeches and different things like that, that looking at the big picture, that I gave others hope as well, that they can do things to change their life around or pursue what they need to in life.
Good. Be influential. Be influential. Ooh. That can go a lot of ways for people.
Yeah, I mean, there's people that are considered influencers or consider themselves influencers.
Give me an example.
Social media influencers.
Person. Calling you out, Craig.
Matt Logan. Matt Logan.
No,
Matt Logan's an influencer.
Not in that category.
Hey, we're influencers.
Intentional or not. I don't consider myself.
How about I give you? How about I give you one?
Sure.
Logan Paul.
Don't know who it is.
Yeah.
Really?
No.
He's gonna box McGregor or something like that. He's that.
Okay.
Yeah, he would be considered like a social media influencer.
Yeah, I would think of like Hugh Olsen. He's like one of the world's biggest YouTubers. He's an influencer. He's got hundreds of millions of followers.
Yeah. Okay. See, did that help giving you someone to?
Yeah.
Right.
I had to think about it. So I guess it would be a good role model, whether it's intentional to influence other people or not. Try to be try to be a role model, set a good example for others, whether you know that they're watching you or not. Basically, have good morals and stay above reproach. Use your power position for good, not for evil.
That's good, Craig.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I think influential or influencers, kind of a new hip term word, but I think going back to years ago, how people led by example, role models, walk the walk and talk the talk, Um,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I grew up with my dad fighting for the underdog and the little guy and the small business person, things like that. And my mom was very faith based, and there'd be a lot of times she'd have to not ground us like correct us or punish us, but ground us, meaning like making us humble. And I think that's also being influential or an influencer, meaning like what's real compared to what's social media, what's fake, what's really real, what's who is this person, what's and some of that's real life TV.
Jackie's
Jackie
running
wanted to
around.
jump in and say
Yeah.
hi. But what's what's real, compared to what's fake or what social media has blown up or materialized, different things like that. So being the influential person, you grew up thinking of cops, doctors, firemen, all those role models like that had a big influence on you, to do good and stay good and lead a good life like that.
To be influential for me is that's a struggle because I don't want to do that. I don't want to be an influencer. I was a woodworker. I've said that many times on different podcasts and at public events. And so this is, I think to me, the best way to be influential is exactly that. Accept what happened and then try to help others. That influences them. That's being influential. Like, again, imperfectly. But when you take an instance of, say, losing a pet or a parent, or in my case, a child, you can take that and at the gas station and be influential to somebody just by being kind to them and holding the door open.
Yep.
Or helping them with their pumping their gas or whatever. That's being influential to me, is just out in the real world, taking real things and making the best out of the situation. I
Yep.
guess is what being influential means to me, and that's the kind of the concept behind it.
Think of others, not just yourself. Like you said, holding the door or helping your neighbor that may need a helping hand. Yeah, the world doesn't revolve around any one of us.
No.
When I think of influential too, I always think of when you pass away and have your obituary written by your family and loved ones, like how much influence them, meaning they always say you can't take your money with you, or your grave and casket isn't any bigger than the millionaire next to you, or different things like that. But like you said, your grandpa, and what kind of legacy influence did you leave on your friends, your neighbors, your loved ones that were closest to you, or not even closest to you? Like, what kind of influence did you leave on them out of that word influential?
Be necessary. Be necessary.
Depending on who you ask. My
I
wife might not say I'm necessary, but
I'll be honest, I wrestled with that one for a bit. Be necessary.
Would you think it's like be relevant, or
I'm not gonna wait until the end.
Be essential. Okay. What about last year? Everybody, well, not everybody, but people were considered necessary workers. What about that? I mean, that was a big word last year. I know you had this before the pandemic and everything, but necessary, I think of the word needed when I think of the word necessary. Being needed, meaning like make a difference. And what you do in your day-to-day life, your family's life, your co-worker's life, be needed, meaning just, compared to being a number, be needed. That's what I think of.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple angles you could go from of if you have a special skill, you could be necessary. And, most people I think would say, well, pass that skill on to others and spread that wealth. And I know there's a few people that keep that that knowledge close to hand because it makes them necessary, because not everybody can do what they can do. I look at it as, how would things be if you weren't there? So if you are there, yeah, how would things change if you weren't around? So then that tells you, well, you're necessary because of these things. I don't know how to go into that much deeper, but to my daughter, I'm a necessity. She needs me or wants me around anyway. So how many other people do you have that impact on in life? And it kind of ties in with the other ones of be that good role model so that people do find you necessary and not just dispensable. So just another face in the crowd.
You ready?
Yeah. You tell us.
Blow our minds, aren't you?
I'm not sure if that's the case, but be necessary to me is completely not outward. It's completely 100% inward.
Okay.
And if I can't be necessary in my own mind and in my own thoughts and in my own character and structure and things like that, I can't do anything. I can't be strong. I can't be hope. I can't be influential if I can't be necessary to me. If I can't continually say, I am worth it, I am worthy, I have to find that's to be necessary is a value thing to me. And if I have to look outward and say, I am necessary for my kids, or I am necessary for my grandkids, or any of those other things, then my value is placed somewhere else instead of internally. And that value to me comes from my religious beliefs specifically. And don't worry, everybody, I'm not going to go all religious on you. But that's what being necessary to me is a completely inward thing. It's something that it has to start inside and in the core of who you are. Otherwise, all those external things don't mean anything.
I like that.
Mhm.
I like that.
Me too.
Kind of like personally owning it.
No,
No,
I wouldn't
not-
say personally owning it.
No.
I say
Accountability?
personally understanding. I've said on other podcasts that you guys have heard me, know thyself. I use the Matrix reference all the time, right? Where Neo in the Matrix goes to the Oracle and there's a Latin sign above his head and it says, know thyself. It's the Latin meaning of know thyself. And that's what it is to me, that real deep internal things. I was telling you, I know my shortcomings. I know what they are. That doesn't mean that I don't fall flat on my face because of them often, more often than I would like to admit to. But I know that. And so I try to recognize that hopefully quicker than later and things like that. And so that builds up sort of that, for me, that mental capacity, that mental resilience, so that I can then go do my job. Then I can go be as good a father as I can, or as good a grandfather as I can be. But if that isn't there, if I am not necessary to me, if my value doesn't come from something other than external, I'm lost. So be necessary. That's what it means to me.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now that I hear it
Right.
out loud.
Yeah.
Like if you don't value yourself, how do you expect anybody else to value you?
Mm-hmm.
Or how could you value anybody else?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I think the key word that you said, Matt, was the word inward, like looking inward, just because it is, core. It's kind of the heart and soul of a lot of this too, is looking at your core when you reflect personally on yourself.
You asked me what was one thing. Can I say it?
Yeah.
What was one thing that I saw that might help you improve? And I said, know your own personal confirmation bias. And you've understood that a lot better in these last 6 months than at the beginning. And
well, thank you.
That's huge. That's
looking outside the box.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, it's kind of recognizing your strengths and weaknesses, and recognizing, that you have, and it's not a hidden agenda. It's maybe just a path that you've maybe spent a lot of time and interest with. For me personally, with the campaign trail and different things like that last year, that I spent a lot of time doing a lot of things like that, and kind of recognizing not everything is as shiny as it may seem. And I hate to use that word, but you know what I mean? Like, there's, a whole nother kind of side to a lot of things that maybe don't get talked about, or different things like that. So it's definitely looking, kind of underneath a lot of things, or around the corner of a lot of things, or out of the box too.
Nobody is without fault.
Yeah.
Not everybody's perfect.
Yeah, we know that.
Yeah.
For me, I know that I'm not perfect, and God is our savior. For me personally, that's what I know. So
love it. Be you.
We gotta lighten this. So when I think, go ahead, Craig.
No,
you go ahead.
I was just gonna say, be yourself. Don't, believe in what you believe. Don't change your tune just to appease somebody else. If you truly believe in something, back it with words or actions. You see that a lot on social media, and I noticed it even in my personal campaign last year. Is I had to step outside of me a little bit because I had to appease people. And I think, unfortunately, that's how politics are. Not that I was trying to kiss anybody's butt, but you have to be open-minded to other people's opinions, which is a good thing. You don't have to believe them, but you have to be open to them. But I think that I also stuck to who I am, and I didn't cater to any special interests, or people say, oh, you were backed by big money, or that. There is no big money in local politics. There's limits on what people can spend. There's no super PACs in local politics. But even, people said, well, you've developers in your back pocket. Yeah, I had some developers that donated to me because they knew that I was pro-development and wanted the handcuffs taken off of developers to do things in town. But that's me. That's my background, is that type of stuff. So where I saw some other candidates in that situation where you could see where that money was coming from, because it tended to change their views on things. And they weren't being true to themselves. They were playing the heat of the moment cards, I guess. So sticking to your guns, sticking with what you believe. Yeah, listen to other people's opinions on stuff, but hold to your convictions. Be you.
So when I see the YOU, I think of, for me personally, I've always kind of described myself, and I remember being on dating sites trying to describe myself and be like, okay, what do I want to say? And I always say, I'm quirky, I'm blonde, I'm bodacious, outgoing, and I think thinking of who I am and where I've come from, and how my parents raised me, and what I grew up with, and where I want to go. Be true to yourself. Also, we had talked about this, Matt, a little bit, just kind of a little bit of realization. Your Facebook memory comes up, and you look at, like, wow, that was 8 years ago, you were saying, and that's who I am today. Like that, or, for you, that's who you are today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's who you are today. Just with that simple little thing of a Facebook memory, different things you post, or different memes or things like that I'd post, or sayings, and be strong, strong women. If you fall for something, you'll fall for anything. At the end of the day, are you proud of who you are at the end of the day? Are you thankful for who you are at the end of the day? Are you grateful for who you are? You know, being you, maybe not every day, but, you know, being the best you that you can be. That's what I think of.
It's good. Both of you, that's good. So
Yeah.
be you for me, you know, it's bringing your, okay, so let me say it like this, and I don't say this to not, I don't know how to say this without sounding kind of like an asinine person. I had speaking offers to speak for some different organizations and things like that early on. And I guess the thing for me is that meant that I had to do it a different way. That meant that I had to bring my message to their liking and not do it in my method, my way, my personality. And so that's what being you is that knowing no matter what the paycheck is, no matter what the consequence might be in a lot of ways in different places, you have to be you. If you're not you, eventually it all come crumbling down.
Yeah.
And so that's what it is to me, is being you is to say, this is what I believe. This is who I am. I can't do it a different way.
Yep.
So in order to be you, I have to be strong in my personality. I have to do hope in my personality. I have to do influence in my personality, and so on. And so that's what be you means to me is and the specific meaning in shiny is like, whatever you're going to do it in your personality. Don't conform to something else in some way else. Understand, Craig, I get it. Like what you said was to in politics, you have to build bridges. And I get that. And I think it's so different than building bridges. You can do that in your personality is kind of my point. And that's what's so crucial and important. So yeah, be strong, be hope, be influential, be necessary, and be you is what our topic was today. So thanks a lot for weighing in. Now the question is here, how come it says I am shiny on the shirt? You want me to answer? Say yes.
Yes.
You know what? Wait. I'm just gonna say something. The whole time we've been talking about shiny, and I know we give Matt a hard time about his hair.
I'm printing other shirts. They're gonna actually and yes, I will sell them to help support the show and the work that I do.
Nice.
But they'll say be shiny. They'll also say be strong. This is a lot of different variations of it. There'll be, be hope, things like that. So that's all coming later too. So
wait, let me circle back on my
comment.
Go for it. I wanted to get that in there. So the whole time we've been talking about shiny, the camera is literally on Matt's forehead where it's all nice and shiny.
I know. I've been out in the sun and shiny forehead.
So it's a great visual to look at you and see that
makeup.
shiny. Yeah. Do that shiny. So yeah, so very nice. Yeah. It's a great acronym that you personally have put together, Matt. So I think you definitely are owning it and live it and breathe it and act it. So
thank you.
Yeah.
I am shiny though. I am strong. I am hope. I am influential. I am necessary, and I am you. And where a lot of people get hung up on is like, I get the I am strong. Yeah, I get it. But I am you. Meaning I believe that our own personalities are the core of who we are, not our tribe or our religious view or our political view or anything like that. And that the I am you for me is we are all connected as human beings. And that's the way that it should. That's the first thing that should come to our mind.
Amen.
Not that I am a Republican, I am a Democrat,
I am right, I am left.
Yeah. I mean, it's I am you.
Yeah.
And so that's why the shirt says I am shiny.
Nice.
And I am. Look at my forehead.
We'll
That's a hair product
for you next
yeah.
week.
Yeah. Hey, thanks a lot for joining us on this special show, everybody. And to my left,
Craig Ugland. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram.
And to my right,
Martha
always
Makashati.
right.
Martha Makashati, and I am Shiny.
Hey, thanks everybody for joining us this week for the special episode. Greatly appreciate it. I hope that you have a fantabulous weekend and stay shiny.